right, cool deal. So it's 2:30. Let me know when you want to get started.
I am ready when you are, Joe.
Yep, I'm ready. So for those of you just joining us, welcome everyone. My name is Joe. I'm with Beyond Creative, and I got Jim from LotVantage here. This is going to be a webinar on Facebook Marketplace. We're going to do our absolute best to bring you the most amount of value regarding your inventory, both new and used, on Facebook Marketplace, so you can get the most amount of leads, most amount of impressions, and hopefully ultimately get as many units out the door and out to people and get some happy riders out there. So with that said, I'll let you introduce yourself, Jim.
Hey, Joe, thank you. And love partner up on Facebook Marketplace. My name is Jim Jabaay. I'm the president here at LotVantage. We've been a Facebook Marketplace partner for almost the last year now. And really, for those of you that know us, have a focus into and passion for the power sports space. Joe and I just came back from AIM Expo. We were talking about that before we got started, and really fired up about what's going on in the industry, what we're seeing out of Facebook Marketplace as an opportunity for dealerships. We're just going to jump right into it and kind of talk about what it looks like and how it works.
Yep, sounds good.
So, as a marketplace, there's 800 million people using Facebook Marketplace. It's becoming one of the fastest growing classified sites that we see today for dealerships to be able to push their inventory in a methodology in place where people are spending their time. There's no doubt, and the studies show that Facebook usage is almost an hour a day by most people. While it might sound crazy if you start adding up all the little times you go there, it gets there. Another crazy stat is Facebook usage doubles during television commercials, because people are finding the time that when a TV commercial comes on, they instinctively just grab their phone and, without even realizing it, click on Facebook just to see what's going on or shop in Marketplace. So with all that being said, over the last year, our dealers that are participating in Facebook Marketplace are averaging nearly 45 leads a month. These are brand new contacts of people that are reaching out to them with a couple different ways that they can reach out from a lead, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we're seeing almost 45 leads a month. The best part about Marketplace, there's no listing fees associated to it. Not like what you're used to with some of the other places that you may go, the cycle traders of the world, where you have to pay major listing fees to have your inventory there. This is a free marketplace. It pairs up nicely with Facebook advertising. But when you talk about Marketplace, it's a great place to be. The lead quality that we see is very high as well. So how does it work? There's two different experiences that you're going to get. We're going to talk through the desktop experience and then the mobile experience. On the desktop experience, Marketplace sits on your left-hand side. And what you see when you're there is that when you click on Marketplace, it brings you into a search portal. You can change this to do any search. You can see my search parameter on that screenshot in the center. I selected Harley Davidson. But you can search by vehicles, vehicle types. It's going to give you a drop down of all the different vehicle types, including motorcycles and power sports for those of you that are both. And as you're scrolling through the inventory, finding things that you want, we'll show you how you communicate back and forth with those dealers as well. The craziest part is on that far right screenshot you see there is a screenshot of listings I've recently viewed on Facebook Marketplace. I happen to live out on the water in Tampa, Florida, so I was looking at outboard engines, and Facebook is retargeting me as I am on my desktop view with things that I'm looking at on Facebook, trying to drive me back to Marketplace on things that they believe I'm interested in. Facebook always acts this way in everything that they do. They want to keep you in your ecosystem. This isn't something as a dealership you have to pay more money for. This is something that Facebook is doing to you or to your users to drive more opportunity to get you to re-engage with that listing.
So yeah, I like your choice there of of items they're retargeting to you.
Yeah, motorcycles and outboard engines.
Yeah,
erotic, huh?
That's my taste too.
That's how we live our life.
Yep.
On the mobile experience, you'll see in the bottom of the little tabs, Facebook is given a dedicated space to Marketplace with that second tab right there, that little house-looking piece item right there. And again, the mobile search, when you get to the Marketplace, it's very similar. And you're going to see your inventory that's displayed there. A mixture of both dealer and or consumer or buy owner stuff, but you can also sort by both. But as you click on a unit, you're going to see everything that comes over. All of this information from year, make, mileage, phone numbers, descriptions, price, etc., is all done via data feed. This isn't creating another job for one of your sales reps or one of your employees at the dealership. This is an automated process. There's about 30 Facebook Marketplace providers, approved Facebook providers in the United States, LotVantage being one of those. But we're one of very few that are also dedicated and have been dedicated to the motorcycle and power sports space for the last 10 years. What you'll find is that we understand how your data feeds work. We actually worked with Facebook on their taxonomy to understand the different makes and models and submodels for the power sports categories to build this out. So we work very, very closely with the Facebook Marketplace team on things like this. So what happens? Customer drives interest. They have two options on how they want to communicate with the dealership. The first is Messenger, and you can see that in the bottom right-hand corner of that ad that you see right there. The second is click to call. We'll talk about Messenger here in a minute, but let's talk about the click to call. Click to call is a new feature that they've come out with in the last few months. It's what you or I would be expected and used to doing with any type of lead or any type of interface, where we could quickly click on that piece of inventory and call directly to the dealership. We reroute that through a call tracking number that LotVantage provides directly to your sales team. So any click to calls are going to come inbound directly to your team that you've got another opportunity for to get on the phone and talk to somebody directly off of a lead off of Facebook Marketplace. The second piece is Messenger. And Facebook Messenger might be new to some of you. And we're going to talk about some best practices. But the most important piece that we see today is that with Facebook Marketplace, you have to assign responsibility to a team member to manage your Messenger inbound, because it is a great lead source, but it is a place that you're going to need to respond back quickly to these dealers. They are looking for the opportunity to communicate with you in the methodology that they're comfortable with, right? Messenger as an entire system, Facebook sees this as the future of where they're going. They expect people to stay inside the communication of Facebook all the way down to how they communicate with you at the dealership. And as you and I know as our own consumers, we want to be communicated to in a multitude of different methodologies, Messenger being one of those. The nice part about Messenger is that entire conversation is saved, not only for the user and that potential customer, but also for you as a dealership. Some of the best practices that we see to manage these Messenger leads from Facebook Marketplace is that you need to respond within 5 to 7 minutes to be able to increase your response rates, get additional badges from Facebook, quickly respond, just like you would with any other lead that would come into your dealership. You just have to be ready to communicate in this new methodology. Encourage the customer to take the action offline if you need to. Encourage them to walk through like you would any other chat that comes to your website. Treat Messenger just like you would chat. Some dealerships that we work with allow their chat providers to manage their Messenger Messenger leads. So if you do have a chat provider, it's another great place to be.
And Jim, can you speak a little bit as to, because I've got a few customers that they think that the autoresponder on Messenger is just enough, but it's kind of a no, guys. Like the autoresponder is just kind of there, so there's no deafening silence. The autoresponders and the bots that you can have, while nice to give somebody a warm and fuzzy quickly, should not be your end-all and be-all strategy. Right.
It's too easy today to download the Pages app onto your phone and get your Messenger alerts for your dealership. If you assign that responsibility to one of your salespeople, while they might find it that responding, periodically throughout the day could be a distraction, they're going to find that they're able to close more business because of it. Managing from your phone or your desktop is the easiest way to do that, to respond to those leads. But just having an autoresponder, while it is good, especially for after hours, you can turn on a messenger after hours responder and say, hey, thanks for contacting us. Our normal hours of operation are 9 to 6. If you reach us in off hours, we'll be sure to get back to you as quickly as possible. What you'll see and find when you do things like that and you assign that responsibility to a individual consumer, Joe, or individual sales rep at the dealership, is that they're going to take it upon themselves to start responding to those leads at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night because they know it's going to put money in their front pocket.
Yeah.
And they know they're going to be able to sell more units because they do it.
Absolutely. And, with that said, though, have you found that it's a little too confusing or convoluted if dealers were to give access to more than just one individual in case that person may be out on the floor helping somebody out, so that the lead gets a quicker response?
We haven't. We see some that do definitely sign it to multiple people. I think it's a training piece to have a main point and a backup that, they're both kind of watching for it, but you don't want them talking over the top of each other. The cool part about Messenger is, right, that if I get an inbound message and both you and I are logged into our dealership Facebook account, you'll see little dots going. That's already shows that somebody else is already responding, right? So it's not going to put you in that position where you're both going to be responding to the customer at the exact same time.
That's right. And just so you know, guys, that if the way that Facebook does it, it shouldn't be really where, let's just say if it's more than one salesperson with access to the chat, it shouldn't be that they both are using the same login. They essentially are given admin rights, and then they can each individually interact through Messenger once they have access to the page, the business page. And what that's going to allow, one of the cool things that it allows for is that not only, like Jim was saying, that you see the ... that somebody's writing, but when a message has been sent, it also records which person in your organization sent the message. So if at part of the buyer's journey, multiple people interacted with them, you can keep track all in Messenger who said what, essentially.
So one of the other awesome things to think about is, you can, with Messenger, with Facebook Marketplace in itself, with it being free, we've seen this happen in the space where, and I even talked about it while I was at AIM last week. We've all seen these marketplaces like this that have come and have been free in the past. Craigslist, probably one of the first ones in the classified space that we felt that came across free. And it was a huge opportunity for dealers to capitalize on that marketplace. We are seeing similar results to what we're seeing with Facebook today. Interestingly enough, though, unlike the old days of Craigslist, there isn't the opportunity to spam the marketplace. You can't have the same inventory up multiple times across hundreds of different markets. Facebook has learned from those that have made mistakes in the past that it's based off a unique stock number, VIN number, et cetera, so that they don't have to worry about the spamming of the marketplace. So we look at marketplace as another place, as a service that you need to have your inventory. You're going to sell more inventory by being there. You're going to have to change some processes up and be ready to communicate in a new way to your dealerships. But overall, the results are incredible. Averaging 45 leads per month. We see some stores that are blowing those numbers out of the water. But dealerships are sitting here telling us we're selling more inventory because of it. It's a great place for us to be. And, it only helps them dip their toe in the water, that if they're looking to also do advertising and things like that, it helps get you a little more comfortable around some of the new ages and technologies and responding and managing your clients.
Yeah, Facebook in general, for sure.
Absolutely.
What did you mention already? That I know you mentioned average leads that they're seeing on a monthly basis. What about impressions? Because I know that was like a pretty amazing number. Last I checked, it was something like above 14,000 on average. Impressions a month.
Yeah, that's the other crazy part. And sometimes when I get the stat lines from Facebook on our monthly basis on our reporting, I almost can't believe what the impressions are. Some of our dealerships, we're averaging right around 10 to 12,000 impressions that their inventory is showing up into people's feeds right there as a searching marketplace on a monthly basis.
That's awesome. And can you tell me a little bit as to a dealership can put both their new and used units on there, correct?
It's used only today. So we're working very closely with Facebook to open that up to the new market. They had tested it originally in automotive, and as is typical with the classified marketing places, new inventory for automotive did not perform well. The consumer's behavior isn't to think about Facebook as a marketplace, just like it isn't with Craigslist or some of those other places to look for new inventory. But as we beta tested a few of these dealerships with new inventory there on Marketplace, the results are there. So we're working closely and quickly with Facebook and our Marketplace team to have them also open it up for new inventory, because we believe this will also be a game changer for new inventory as well, and we need to help get that new inventory there.
Got you. And can you speak a little bit as to the minimum requirements to list a unit on Facebook Marketplace?
It's pretty simple. I need to have a photo, at least a photo of a unit and a price of the unit. Outside of that, all of those items typically come over to us in a data feed. If I have photos and price, the rest of it, year, make, model, all comes over in a data feed from any one of your data providers. We get data from anybody and everybody, all the website providers, everybody that we would need to in the power sports space, we're connected to get that data feed.
Yeah, so all your DX1, your ARI, dealer spike, you name it, right?
You name it, we're there. Room 58's the biggest, newest one in the Harley space. Yeah, we're there. We're integrated for inventory with all of them.
Yeah, awesome. And I know we have a few, Harley dealer attendees here in the webinar today. So yeah, definitely Room 58 has been gaining some ground as well. So that's cool. And so with the feed, I'm guessing come automatic updates, right? So what happens if like a unit is sold or a unit's price changes, for instance?
Absolutely. So we are as soon as I get an updated feed, we are sharing that feed update to Facebook, and the price, the description, the photos are all going to be reflective. Sometimes it takes up to 24 hours. It depends on how often the feed provider is sending us an updated feed. But if you make a change inside of your IMS, inside your website provider, etc., even your DMS, we're getting that updated feed and reflecting that feed and that price change or whatever it may be. Even if the vehicle's sold, we're reflecting that within 24 hours on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, obviously it's important to outline that that it's going to be as accurate as, dealers, whoever is in charge of updating their inventory on their DMS, that the feed on Facebook Marketplace is only going to be as accurate as the feed that's coming from their DMS. So
it can only be as successful as what's provided to us. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool deal.
Awesome. Joe, what else do we want to talk about with Marketplace?
Can we talk a little bit about, if there is a capability to further, kind of like you would promote a post, for instance, that you could promote a listing?
You can. So Marketplace is another place that you can advertise to. You can advertise across in the Facebook advertising realm of all the Facebook ecosystem, right? You can advertise on your Facebook news feed like you're used to. You can advertise onto Instagram. You can advertise into Facebook stories, Instagram stories. You can advertise now through Facebook Messenger, and you can also advertise on Marketplace. So you can take all of your inventory, do inventory retargeting ads for visitors that are on your website, and serve that inventory up to them as advertisements right inside a Marketplace. In fact, if you go into Marketplace and visit it, you're going to see some of that come across into your Marketplace feed. Facebook is a for-profit business, so they're looking for any which way that they can have another place as another advertising platform to also take advertising dollars. Marketplace is another one of those places today.
Awesome.
Success there as well. Targeting people that are searching for Harley Davidsons, for instance, in Marketplace with ads for our dealerships in Marketplace.
Yep. Awesome. And I know that obviously you guys offer a solution that seamlessly, and you've mentioned already quite a few things about it, seamlessly integrates a dealer's inventory. Now, if they wanted to venture out and say do it on their own and just kind of manually do it, they could easily do that as well, right?
They would have to send it to the buy owner category, which if you want to be in the buy dealer category, where there's a lot more trust, as you guys know, you have to do it through a Facebook partner.
Yep. So it would have and there's kind of a bit of a sense from the buyer, right? That if you're kind of listing it as selling by owner, but then in reality they see it's a dealer. It's kind of one of those where like, there's going to be, in my opinion, a little bit of pushback from the buyer because they're going to feel a little bit cheated. Like,
yeah, that's that first moment of building trust, right? And in anything, I don't care if it's marketplace or wherever it is. The most important thing that you need to do to sell more inventory is to build that level of trust up from the start.
Yeah. Yeah. So that means that in order to do it properly, in order to do it as selling as a dealer, for a dealer to do it right, they would have to go to a Facebook approved partner.
Correct.
Like LotVantage. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And can you talk about particularly like the program that LotVantage that like you guys offer?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we offer a program today for dealerships to ensure that all your used inventory is always up and active on Facebook Marketplace for $150 a month. And there's no upfront fees. There's nothing else. We're going to get your data feed from your providers and connect your tokens. You'll see a request from LotVantage to be your marketplace partner. And typically within 48 hours of signing up with us, we can have your inventory live on Facebook Marketplace because that's all it takes for us to get the data feed and ensure that whoever's an admin on the Facebook page approves our requests for our product to manage Facebook Marketplace and get those listings there.
Awesome. Excellent. I went ahead and on the chat shared a link with a little bit more information on the program in general. So those of you that, are interested can feel free to go on there and check it out. I mean, we've covered a pretty good amount on here today. So I don't know that the landing page in itself is going to give them a lot more info, but if they wanted something to look at to keep, they could certainly by all means go on there and check it out.
Awesome.
Yeah. What do you think would be some good questions that we may want to ask some of the dealers that are here with us today? I know we ran a poll. We got about 50% more or less of some that were already on marketplace, some that are not. Anything else comes to mind with regards to any questions that's relevant to them?
Yeah, I think, some of the things we talked about with that, for those that aren't on Facebook Marketplace yet, what's been that barrier to entry of the why, right? What's held them back at this point from being on Marketplace? Is it we don't have the staff internally to manage it? Wasn't sure what the results would look like. What are the reasons why in there? Because it is definitely a new place that we see today, right? That dealers definitely need to take a look at. And we see, the poll results didn't surprise me that about 50% on and 50% aren't using it. I had a similar show of hands while we were at AIM last week as well.
Yeah. I think, you mentioned, but there's a couple of, in my opinion, there's a couple of things, right? Definitely the getting somebody to manage it where they think it's a lot more robust or complicated than it really is, could definitely be one barrier of why they're a little bit afraid. But I do sense, and, tell me what you think about this. I feel like in the industry in general, people tend to be a little bit like, they dig their heels in and they resist a lot of the newer technologies and newer things and venturing into that. And I kind of feel like it hinders a lot of dealerships, like, oh, well, we've done it like this for XYZ this long, and it has worked so far. But the problem is that stuff is so evolving and ever changing, and we're so competing for people's attention that it's really more critical now than ever before to be with the times and be with where people are at. You mentioned toward the beginning of the webinar how many people are actually on there. It's really an unbelievable, staggering number. And I think it's critical for dealerships to be where their, prospects are spending their time. And so this is definitely one of those platforms.
Absolutely. Like you said, there's a time and a place to definitely dig our heels in, but being ready to communicate to the next generation and even current generations of buyers and how they want to be communicated to, or where they want to shop, you got to be where your customers are going to be. And we definitely see as an emerging market, Facebook Marketplace is one of the leaders in that space right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree. And I think, it's important to be said right now that, Facebook, for those of you that don't know, bought Instagram. They have owned them for years now. They bought them for a staggering what I believe was $1 billion. So anything that gets marketed on Facebook simultaneously can get pushed out to the Instagram platforms as well. But in spite of the whole Instagram thing, being relevant and being on the platforms that matter is critical. It's absolutely of the utmost important for sure.
Absolutely. Awesome, Joe. I think we covered a lot here over the last 25 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see if any of our attendees have any questions. You guys, please feel free to put your questions in the chat. Are you up for a quick Q&A, Jim, if we have a little bit of time? Okay. Yeah. So you guys shoot your questions over to us. We're all ears right now. We would love to, entertain your questions. Yeah, I think, one of the things that slipped my mind that I wanted to say earlier on, Jim, was that particularly for Harley Davidson dealerships, right? The recurring thing I hear over and over again from dealer principals, general managers, sales managers alike is, that Harley as a corporation is actively trying and struggling to capture that newer generation. This is one of those things. What we've been talking about today is one of those things where the struggle, starts to go away because it's about looking in the right place. I mean, if you're looking in the right place, I'm a firm believer of working hard because that's just work ethic in general for me. But on the same token, you got to work smart. And if you're looking in the right place, in the right nook and cranny, as opposed to fighting that new technology or the space, it's going to make things a lot easier for you. And this is one of those things where you put it out there and you're going to start seeing the influx of leads, the influx of questions, the traffic, the views to your inventory. So it's definitely, this is a critical component to reaching that newer generation that Harley, I think, is so desperately seeking. I mean, by the way, just kind of on topic, but not, the Livewire. Amazing machine. Saw it for the first time at the AIM Expo. That's one of those movements of how they're trying to reach this new crowd. That's their attempt. But how does it really translate? Like, sure, it translates into they have this new vehicle that's great for a younger demographic, and now it's sitting at the dealer. But the dealer is burdened with communicating with the people that will come and be interested in that vehicle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is one of those things that ties into directly where to find those people that would be interested in the Livewire. So I don't know if any of the Harley dealers that are with us here today are actually already, Livewire dealers or not, but.
Definitely a place they need to be marketing to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Joe, any questions? Or you think we covered a lot? You asked quite a few questions that I think were probably on a lot of people's minds as well. So,
yeah, I think that's good that we went through the questions like that. Let me go through my little list. That we covered a pretty good. I'll rattle some off here, see if if anything comes to your mind. But we covered why it's important for people to be paying attention to marketplace. We covered, how it compares to traditional Craigslist. We talked about average exposure that dealers are seeing, for their inventory, if they can manually input it or not, if they can sell just used units, if it's free for them to, be on marketplace. Here's a good question. So, well, obviously we talked about Messenger, but is there some dealers out there may be curious as to this? When a lead is generated on Facebook, does it or can it go anywhere else other than just Messenger?
So there's two. We talked about two ways that they can do it, and they don't have the choice to turn this off or on. Messenger being number one, and or click to call. So where we're getting to a point, we're actually in the build out right now to ensure that Messenger leads are also sent directly and alerted into the CRM as well. So that is a change that we have coming down the pipe. Still doesn't change how you're going to be able to respond to them, but at least you're going to be able to track your leads across multiple sources and back into your CRM as well.
Awesome. Okay, cool. We also talked about what happens when a unit has been sold or the price changes, and how it seamlessly integrates as well. And that's, a solution that you guys offer. And for those of you that are curious on it, want more info, you can contact me directly, either, the email that I sent you guys when you signed up, which is joe@GoBeyondCreative. You could certainly contact, the folks at LotVantage as well. What's a good contact info or website for them to check out, Jim, for LotVantage? Should we just give them the landing page we got set up for them?
Send them over to that landing page.
Okay. Yep. So that should be on your chat right now, guys. And it's essentially www.lotvantage.com/beyondcreative. So check it out. You could either go there if you want more info, if you want me to answer any questions. Again, joe@GoBeyondCreative, and I'll be more than happy to provide you guys with any info that you may need.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe, and thank you, attendees, for joining us today.